Safaricom employee faces fraud charges over alleged theft of over $186,000. Aboyeji set to launch the Y Combinator of Africa. Layoffs continue as YouTube is set to cut 100 jobs. Vodafone and Microsoft to invest $1.5 billion in Africa and Europe. And Amazon Prime to stop production of African content as a result of layoffs. All this and many more on today's episode. You can call me FK, and this is Tech News from Africa and beyond. David Obwanga, a Safaricom employee, has been charged with 6 counts of fraud and accused of embezzling 29.5 million shillings, equivalent of $186,604.04. This is said to have been embezzled from the National Police Department Savings and Credit Cooperative Organization Society Limited. The case also implicates others including Jane Njoki, Alexander Odiambo, and ICT expert Brian Samba, with accusations of fraud and money laundering. M-Pesa operators possibly involved in facilitating the embezzled funds might also face similar charges. Okay, at this point, I think it is very important to call out African fintech companies to start looking at the loopholes that are enabling all these internal frauds. For a while now, numerous African fintech companies have been involved in one internal fraud or the other by current or past staff. We've heard of Patricia, we have the payday issues, and even Keeper experienced fraud recently. African fintech companies, please, you need to do better. In a related context, Safaricom's sustainability report disclosed the termination of 33 employees from April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023 for policy breaches and M-Pesa fraud. This suggests a growing concern about internal security within the company. You see, my friend and I, a fintech expert, just sat down on this channel to do a 3-part series on fintech security, infrastructure, scalability, and this was one of the issues we touched on. Just in case you've not seen the series, you can check the link up here. Yeah, I'm going to be linking the video up here. This situation is not isolated to Safaricom. A July 2023 report from Jumia Kenya reported a loss of 21.2 million shillings, equivalent to $150,000, due to an employee manipulating vendor payment records. These accidents at Safaricom and Jumia Kenya highlight an increasing challenge for organizations in the telecommunications and e-commerce sectors to bolster their defenses against internal fraud and reassess their security protocols. Aboyeji, co-founder of Flutterwave and Andela, together with Vodafone-Microsoft Koschitzky-Kimani, is launching Accelerate Africa, an ambitious new accelerator program fueled by a substantial $750,000 grant from USAID. Poised to be Africa's counterpart to the renowned Y Combinator, this initiative is dedicated to cultivating a new generation of global businesses. It will kick off with an 8-week program for 10 startups in the pre-seed and seed stages from any of Africa's 54 countries. This launch fills a significant void left by Y Combinator's scaled-down operations in Africa. You see, I always love to see Africa-focused versions of establishments that have made a lot of success over there. Because while YC is great, my bones grow weak anytime all these big establishments start gatekeeping African countries. Just when we think we've started flourishing and we now have a good rapport with them, they shift the goalpost again. One small issue can happen in somewhere like Zimbabwe and they will shut the whole Africa off. What sets Accelerate Africa apart is its hands-on approach, bringing startups together in person across Nairobi and Lagos. TechPoint reports that the program's success will be measured by the funding that the participating startups secured during and after the intensive 8 weeks. Unlike other programs, Accelerate Africa does not guarantee direct funding from the accelerator itself, a decision influenced by past experiences during a pilot phase. The accelerator will culminate in a demo day, giving startups a chance to pitch their ideas to a range of investors, from angel investors to Series A and B investors. Oh, now I get why TechPoint captioned this news piece as YC without the money. Now only them know waiting their IC where they were giving people money directly. Some people probably thought of it as the next way for them to make their big cash out. But somehow I can reason with them because they said this decision is actually influenced by their experience from a past pilot phase. This move comes at a crucial time when several accelerators are winding down operations in Africa, and the global giant Y Combinator is reducing its presence on the continent. Aboyeji and Koschitzky, leveraging their vast experience with 2 unicorns and multiple successful exits, are set to make a significant impact in empowering Africa's burgeoning startup ecosystem. You see, say whatever you will about Aboyeji, Baba must innovate. His body cannot just stay in one place. And such can-do attitude with no fiber of regret is actually the attitude we need to dare innovation in new spaces in Africa. Google has announced a workforce reduction at YouTube affecting 100 employees, particularly within the creator management and operations teams. This move is part of a larger restructuring effort at Google, which recently saw over 1,000 job cuts across various sectors, including engineering and the Google Assistant team. A Google spokesperson stated that these cuts are part of the company's strategy to make responsible investments that align with its key priorities. This development indicates a significant shift in Google's operational focus and resource allocation. You see, layoffs in the tech space are just so funny right now. You see, the almighty management makes decisions on what the company should focus on, and they move around like this cult of exalted decision makers. The decisions they make then lead to embarrassing failures, mostly because of their poor decision making skills. But guess who gets laid off? Yup, the innocent employees doing all the work and who had no part in the decision making process. Mary Helen Cole, YouTube's chief business officer, conveyed the news to staff in an internal memo outlining that the affected employees can explore other positions within YouTube. Oh, this might actually be a much better approach. I actually wish other companies gave their employees this option. However, this opportunity does not guarantee continued employment within the company. The restructuring aims to enhance operational efficiency and realign resources with crucial product priorities. Yup, the same BS excuse every company doing layoffs has been giving so far. Those affected have a 60-day time frame to secure alternative roles, with Google expressing ongoing support for impacted employees in navigating opportunities within and beyond the company. The tech industry's job reduction trend continues into the new year, with companies like Google, Discord, Twitch, Prime Video, MGM Studios, Audible, Duolingo, Instagram, Pixar, and Unity implementing workforce cuts. This ongoing trend underscores the dynamic adjustments within the tech sector, possibly driven by evolving market dynamics and strategic recalibrations. Vodafone and Microsoft have recently unveiled a decade-long collaboration to bring generative AI, digital services, and cloud solutions to a vast user base of over 300 million businesses and consumers across Africa and Europe. See, normal, this piece was supposed to be in the money talk section, but this money is so big, we had to make it an headline. As part of this strategic partnership, Vodafone is set to invest $1.5 billion over the next 10 years in cloud and customer-centric AI services developed in conjunction with Microsoft. This initiative aims to reshape Vodafone's customer experience by leveraging Microsoft's generative AI, amplify the reach of Kenya's Safaricom mobile money platform M-Pesa, and introduce new digital and financial services, particularly for SMEs in Europe and Africa. 1.5 billion across 10 years. That's like 150 million per year. Nice. The collaboration also signifies Microsoft's commitment to utilizing Vodafone's fixed and mobile connectivity services, alongside investment in Vodafone's independently managed IoT connectivity platform, operational by April 2024. This independent entity is poised to create opportunities for expanded partnerships and customer connections, fostering application growth and accommodating a broader range of devices, vehicles, and machinery. The digital services arising from this venture will leverage cutting-edge generative AI technology to deliver highly personalized and unique customer experiences while adhering to Vodafone's established framework for responsible AI, emphasizing ethical privacy security policies. You see, whether you like the AI trend or not, this is where we are now. If you want to compete better in the coming years, you need to find how to integrate AI either as a skill or to boost your productivity, because you see, that's where all the major investments are going now. I just watched a video just before this meeting, and this is not even in the script. I just watched a video where Mark Zuckerberg was claiming that they just bought 350,000 NVIDIA GPUs. I've forgotten the name of the GPUs. 350,000. I think the last time I checked those GPUs, one of them cost like $10,000. The whole purchase is costing Facebook like $10.5 billion. All into this AI thing. They are currently training Llama. Even I personally have been involved in 5 LinkedIn courses from last year to this year. 5 LinkedIn courses, and guess what they are based on? AI. OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, have changed their stance on military involvement. They've partnered with the Pentagon on cybersecurity projects and are discussing suicide prevention tools, abandoning their prior ban on military AI use. AK-47 powered by ChatGPT. What could go wrong? Anna Makanju, that's a Yoruba woman, right? Anna Makanju, OpenAI's Vice President of Global Affairs, confirmed the news during the World Economic Forum. She elaborated that the company is also exploring with the US government to address veteran suicide prevention, all while maintaining its stance against developing weaponry. Oh, maintaining its stand against developing weaponry. That's cool. Definitely we can trust the company that once told us that they will not use their models for military use but are now doing it. Yeah, sure, we should be fine. This policy shift follows OpenAI's recent removal of language barring military usage from its terms of service, sparking concerns among AI safety advocates. This aligns with a broader trend in Silicon Valley where once prominent opposition to military collaborations has softened. Factors like US-China tensions and the Ukraine war have influenced this shift, with figures like ex-Google CEO Eric Schmidt comparing AI's potential impact to the introduction of nuclear weapons. While OpenAI emphasizes its commitment to non-lethal applications, experts warn of potential risks. AI's susceptibility to generating misinformation could escalate within military contexts, particularly when integrated into command and control systems. Advocacy groups urge caution, stressing the need for thorough risk assessments before the widespread military adoption of AI. Speedrun, it's time for speedrun, let's get started. Amazon Prime layoffs to affect African content production. Amazon has announced a significant reduction in its workforce, particularly impacting the Amazon Prime Video team. This decision is part of a broader cost-cutting initiative by the tech giant, reflecting a shift in its operational strategy amidst changing market conditions. The layoffs at Amazon Prime Video signify a notable scaling back in one of Amazon's key entertainment divisions. The move to downsize the team comes as Amazon reassesses its investments and priorities in a highly competitive streaming market. The development not only affects the employees directly involved, but also signals potential changes in Amazon Prime Video's future content and service offerings. This decision highlights the ongoing challenges and adjustments faced by streaming services in an evolving digital landscape. You see, this is just sad because I consume a lot of African content on Prime, and a lot of our big content creators and movie makers have gotten a lot of big gigs from this. I guess once again the layoff tsunami bites. 30 million internal fraud sours exit as Keeper scraps severance package for laid off workers. Keeper, a notable Nigerian fintech startup, recently suffered a substantial financial blow due to fraud, leading to losses amounting to millions of naira. This significant setback for the company, which specializes in digital bookkeeping for small businesses, was uncovered during an internal audit that revealed discrepancies in its accounts. In response to the fraud, Keeper has enhanced its security measures and is working with law enforcement to investigate the issue. However, further complicating matters is the revelation that laid-off employees are not going to be receiving their severance packages. So because you guys experienced a fraud internally, people that are still licking their wounds from being laid off now don't get severance. Nah, that's too bad. Patricia to repay customers within 2 to 5 years. Patricia, a Nigerian fintech company, has announced plans to reimburse customers affected by a recent hacking incident. The breach, which occurred over a period from October 2021 to February 2022, resulted in a significant loss of funds. The company has outlined a repayment plan that spans between 2 to 5 years, demonstrating its commitment to rectify the financial damages suffered by its customers. This decision follows intense scrutiny and pressure from the public and regulatory bodies. The repayment plan has been met with mixed reactions from Patricia's customer base. While some appreciate the company's effort to make amends, others express concern about the lengthy time frame for reimbursement. You see, this is why you need to do proper research before putting your money in any company. While these Nobody deserves this to happen to them for putting their money in a company they believe in. Try and help yourself by doing due diligence before you put your money in any platform. Apple bills Epic Games $73 million in legal costs. In the aftermath of their high-profile legal confrontation, Apple has issued a bill to Epic Games for $73 million in legal costs. This development follows a lawsuit centered on Apple's App Store policies and payment systems, wherein Apple secured a partial victory. The legal battle, which garnered significant attention, highlighted critical issues regarding app marketplace regulations and developer rights. You see, this is why small companies don't really like picking fights with these heavyweights. Just because Epic lost to Apple, they now have to cover $73 million that Apple claims is spent on legal fees. Anyway, Epic made over $700 million last year and they are projected to make $900 million this year, so I guess they're fine. FagoPay acquires microfinance license. FagoPay, a Nigerian fintech company, has acquired a microfinance license in a strategic move to enhance financial inclusion in Katsina State. This license allows FagoPay to broaden its services, offering more accessible financial solutions to the underserved populations in the region. The acquisition marks a significant step in the company's mission to bridge the financial gap in underbanked communities. And it's time for Money Talk. Raise up because today is loaded. Friendly M, a Cairo-based car management app, has raised $2 million to expand across Egypt and aims to enroll 100,000 vehicles within a year, extending beyond Cairo and Alexandria. Egyptian logistics startup Bosta secures new funding from Axian Group for regional expansion, following a successful foray into Saudi Arabia and a 6.7 million Series A funding round. Togolese mobile operator Togocom has received a €55 million loan from the IFC to enhance digital connectivity, aiming to provide mobile and fixed broadband to 95% of Togo's population as part of the country's digital transformation strategy. Kanza, an African Web3 neobank, has raised $2.3 million led by Polychain Capital to enhance its cross-border payment platform and expand across Africa. The funding will be used to obtain regulatory licenses and develop its DeFi exchange Baki, aiming to reduce forex transaction costs and stabilize currency values. Egyptian fintech startup Zeal has raised $4 million to expand its AI-driven customer engagement solutions in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, following its recent UK market entry and leveraging tax relief benefits for investors. Tech news for this week. Be sure to join us next week for more updates and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I remain your bro in tech, FK. With no fiber of I know that for dare some new spaces and innovate within them in Africa. Rephrase. You see whether you like the AI trend or not in the decision-making progress.